Introduction to Databases and SQL. Scope and Objectives. This learning module covers some core topics of database technologies, including database models, database design issues, and the use of the structured query language SQL to define and manipulate data. The learning module is an introductory module, and does not dive into all the technical details. Therefore, in this learning module we will not discuss issues such as the mathematical principles underlying the database models, or the optimization of the design of databases, or the implementation of database management systems. The learning module focuses primarily in giving some information on how to define and use simple databases. The learning objectives is to make the learner able to understand the organization of structured data, and how to model them, how to design simple databases, how to define, store and manipulate data, and how to access and use the database. Preliminaries. What is a database? A database is an organized collection of structured data. Simply speaking, a database is just a way of storing and organizing information. Ideally, it is organized in such a way that the data can be easily accessed, managed, and updated. Essentially, the database captures an abstract representation of the domain of an application, that is, the data that the application needs in order to operate as designed. An example of a simple database is an address book, such as the ones in our smartphones. A more complex database may hold the information about the organization of the educational activities in a university, including information on faculty, courses, students, classes, schedules, enrollments, etc. Other usual cases are the personnel records of an organization, and the products of an enterprise, shown in an e-shop. Other examples are the banking records, including clients, accounts, cards, transfers, payments, etc. Also, airline reservation systems including flight dates, seat types, seat assignments, prices, etc. Classically, a database is organized as a set of records, and relationships between records. Each record refers to a single item, and contains information for characteristics of the item that are of interest. These simple notions of records, sets, items, characteristics, etc., are modeled, in a rigorous way, in order to provide the tools and operations for defining, manipulating and accessing the database and the information it holds. A data model is a set of concepts that can be used to describe the structure of a database. That is, the data types, the relationships, the constraints that apply and should be satisfied by the data in the database, and the semantics and the operational behavior of the database. The traditional models include the hierarchical model, the network model and the relational model. In the hierarchical model the data are organized into a tree-like structure. The data are stored as records which are connected to one another through links. Each child record has only one parent, whereas each parent record can have one or more child records. In order to retrieve data from a hierarchical database, the whole tree needs to be traversed starting from the root node. The network model allows each record to have multiple parent and child records, forming a generalized graph structure. The chief argument in favor of the network model, in comparison to the hierarchical model, was that it allowed a more natural modeling of relationships between entities. The network model was eventually displaced by the relational model, which offered a better, declarative interface, instead of the navigational interfaces of the hierarchical and network models. The relational model is an approach to managing data using a structure and language consistent with first-order predicate logic, where all data is represented in terms of tuples, grouped into relations. The relational model is the one mostly used, and we will focus on it, in the sequel.